The best opener to this is perhaps a quote from the Isodidact, who said, "The Forerunners were sophisticated above all other empires and powerful almost beyond measure. Our ecumene spanned 3 million fertile worlds. We had achieved the greatest heights of technology and physical knowledge." Now that strange word you just heard me say is the translated name for the Forerunner Empire, which existed around 100,000 years ago. And what we're going to look at in today's video is their master of technology and the universe around them, and the various ways that they would influence, adjust it, like a tool. So back in their era, their time, what exactly could the Forerunners achieve? We'll just go through a few quick examples. With whatever tool they were using, they would look at the correct alignment of continents and changing the spectral signatures of suns. Just think of the scale that they're thinking on there. And in the end, nothing in the realms, material or immaterial, will be on their grasp, could not be reached by using one of their tools. Now, linked to this amazing technology is their deep interest in life, all the complexity that life has to offer. There was a particular group called the Life Workers that were involved in that work, though they could be aided by others. These others would help the Life Workers by ensuring that they can continue with their work, by making and maintaining protection for the Life Workers' laboratories. Now again, going up to the big scale, this could be changing planetary orbits, making sure in certain biospheres that organisms and chemicals are seeded there to ensure that they don't collapse, or indexing and eliminating entire species that could threaten the greater view, the greater diversity of the life in the universe. Now, to go with this, the Forerunners had no commitment to not interfering in the lives of the species in the universe. They would go there and they would do what they needed to do. And because that they wanted to uphold the mantle that they lived by, these species could be subject to the wills of the Forerunners through a combination of military coercion, social manipulation, and integral modification of entire civilizations. Even the very stars that we can see in our sky were subject to the whims of the Forerunners. They could be manipulated through the skill of stellar engineers. To do this, they would use energy siphons and magnetic regulators to tame young stars in their growth period, whilst also stopping the usually violent deaths of stars that had been born, run their natural course, and were now ending. They do this usually when the death of a star may cause species to be wiped out, species that perhaps are even unaware of the peril that they are living under. Mistakes were made, though, in their early efforts, but they learned, their ambition driving them forward, and their biggest and most ambitious use of this method came towards the end of their civilization. Then they were forced to induce the death of countless stars prematurely to purge sectors overrun by the parasite, the flood. Billions of planets across the galaxy were affected by the Forerunners. First there would be monitor and servitor constructs, which would dispassionately look at a world, look at its potential, see if it has the resources the Forerunners want, or examine the creatures upon it to assess them, rate them. A real-life Forerunner would be sent to worlds that fell into certain categories if remediation or conversion in feedstock were required. Once that Forerunner had arrived, they would oversee the putting in place of incredibly complex machinery that could strip atmospheres, bore into molten cores, modulate incoming radiation patterns, shift orbits over a carefully calculated span of ages, etc. And so, as you can imagine, many great instruments were used to make these changes, incredibly massive complex machines. And these machines, following on from the halo being fired, would have gone into standby mode. When they had completed their tasks, perhaps they ran them for a while, away from the eyes of the Forerunners once they had been eliminated. Or perhaps they strayed from the assignment they had been given without the intelligence of the Forerunners to guide them and keep them on the correct path. Next, we draw on the Halo Encyclopedia and we look at seed worlds. There's only a short section here, so I'm just going to read it directly. Small wonders that flower into larger machines. Seed worlds are engines of creation, deployed to dead, dying, or marginal planets to align them with Forerunner intent. Some turn dust into living planets and animals. Others drain the soil to grow machinery of death. All were built to a purpose, and those who control them know their duty goes on, even without the Forerunners to approach their long labour and appreciate what they have done. We also get a hint from the Halo Encyclopedia about a planet called Gibalb. It's noted as the natal world of the Forerunner species. I looked that up, and it's not that clear, but I assume it means their initial home world, like Earth would be for us. But there's been damage done to the planet, as if early on perhaps the Forerunners reached too far. It's been scorched and scoured of all life millions of years ago. The encyclopedia notes that the Forerunners made a ill-advised exploration of early stellar engineering and caused nearby stars to go nova, thus damaging the planet, though they somehow evaded it. But we do learn that this incident pushed the Forerunners to come together again and form their galaxy-spanning empire to reach the apex that they do. There's a little more background here. We learn that it was an extremely fertile planet, but much more detail is lost to us. And next and finally in this video, we look at a world station where we can see that the Forerunners reached a certain level of arrogance with their status in the galaxy. All who approached this world station, called Mithrilian, were awed by it. If you approach it, you will be surrounded by a cloud of servitor machines to both assist and others to repel threats. Now the station acted as a second home for the Forerunners. It was known as the capital. But in the end, and this is where their arrogance comes in, it was undone by one of the Forerunners' greatest servants. This would of course be mendicant Bias. It had been driven mad by a logic plague and had unleashed the first halo rings, causing much devastation. During that, this world station was almost sterilized of all life. The council mostly were eliminated, and this ended the capital's ability to defend itself against the flood. And we'll just quote directly from the encyclopedia here at the end. With its systems corrupted and broken, it was abandoned to the parasite, who gloated over its ruin before moving on to consume and grow. And that, friends, is where I will end today's video, and I'll look into the amazing levels of technology that the Forerunners had at their command.